probably best known as a fellow from Canada who writes guzzles, which is a Middle Eastern form of poetry with inner rhyme and outer repeated words. Phrases. I'm also relatively well known as a haiku poet and tanka poet, whatever you want to pronounce it. Probably a little chapbook I have right here, New England Country Farmhouse, published in, I think, '04 or '05. A few years back, probably my best known work. One that sold the best. Anyway, people saying for many years now, why don't you go public? Why don't you talk to the public? You know, why don't you just, why don't you do readings? You know, you don't do public readings. Half the battle, some say. Well, I don't like giving public readings, poetry readings, because first of all, poetry slams are a load of shit, basically. All it is nowadays, anyway, over the last 15 years, is just a bunch of arseholes pretending they're poets or pretending they're rappers, just sitting around in some sleazy pub that you can't smoke in any longer, which really bugs me when someone tell me where I can light up a cigarette or what breed of dog I can own or shit like that. And so people have been saying, you don't give poetry readings. You only give, well, I think it's 3 interviews I've given, I think, over the past 10 years. Why the hell don't you straighten out some of the issues when you talk about some of the things that matter to you that people are always asking you about and stuff? Well, here I am, attempting. Well, let's talk about poetry first. What do you write poetry? People have asked me several times. I get emails, I get letters, and stuff. Why do I write poetry? Because I'm a total chump. Because I never had anybody reliable to go into the rock and roll or jazz world with, basically. That's what I would have much rather have done. I would have much rather gone into the world of alternative rock or jazz or maybe even country music or blues. But all of my friends growing up, they drifted aside and I was left alone, quite frankly. So I found myself in university 20 years ago writing poetry. I started writing in high school, actually. Early influences would have been people like Dylan Thomas, the Beatniks, of course, Lawrence Ferlinghetti, Allen Ginsberg, Jack Kerouac, rock and roll poets like, of course, Jim Morrison, Lou Reed, Leonard Cohen, Patti Smith, people like that. A few years later, Thurston Moore and Lee Ranaldo from Sonic Youth, very, very fine poets and lyricists. And while at university, I had a great poet by the name of Tom Dahl, who was a professor for a few courses. Very good. And stuff like that, got me into poetry. And suddenly, by the time I was in my mid-20s, like around 25, 26, the rock and roll thing, the jazz thing, the film thing, I consider film as well. I always wanted to direct. And deeper and deeper into poetry. So, started sending a few poems out here and there. And my poems were, generally speaking, met with a lot of bad reaction. Basically, they hated the damn stuff, okay? Things changed in, I think, 95, when a wonderful woman by the name of Jane Reichel, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's the proper pronunciation, Jane Reichel, was publishing a wonderful journal out of California at the time by the name of Lynx, Lynx, like the big cat, which we have occasionally around here. And she published some of my tanka, haiku, Japanese poetry. October Twilight, I think, was the sequence of tanka, haiku. And it went over fairly well. And she wanted more. And more, published. I caught on and started publishing in other haiku journals like Raw Nerves Haiku, Dorothy Albert's journal, which is now gone, of course, like Link. And then I started getting into Middle Eastern poetry, ghazal. Ghazal. Proper pronunciation, I guess, would be something like ghazal. It's a form of poetry written in couplets, emphasizing inner rhyme and end of line, and the second line of each couplet has the same word or same phrase. And the late great Aga Shahid Ali, born in Kashmir, passed away a few years back. He was putting together an anthology of English language ghazals. So I had a couple of my pieces accepted for that, and I was the only Canadian, if I'm not mistaken, included in that volume. And it came out in, I think, 2000, and it was called Ravishing Disunity, Real Ghazals in English. And a couple years after that, I started Contemporary Ghazals, a journal, 8x11 journal, magazine style. And that more or less put me on the map as Mr. Ghazal. It's something I can't live down, basically. So, getting back to the question of why do I write poetry, because somebody has to do the damn job. And in more recent years, I've been going back to my old style, back to the 80s, digging out free verse and stuff, published a few things here and there. But I'm still mainly seen as a ghazal, an haiku poet. And New England Country Farmhouse again, came out a few years back. This is the book that I'm probably best known for. This is a 24-page chap book. I dip back into my childhood, really. I'm a lifelong Jodie Foster fan, and with New England Country Farmhouse, I went back to her old